from today, new rules for travel to Ireland will come into effect. As part of these changes, COVID vaccine certificates for primary vaccination will no longer be accepted for travel if more than 270 days, that's around 9 months, have passed since the final dose in the primary vaccine series. With me on the line for more on this and to work out how it's going to work out, I suppose, is editor of Air and Travel magazine, Eoghan Corry. Eoghan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jerry. I still have the 4-penny stamps from the time I stayed down in Bentry when I was a small boy.
I'm not sure they'll work anymore, but sure, you could try it.
Give it a try
Eoghan,
anyway.
The changes today, I mean, at a time when some people were assessing, look, will we need COVID vaccine certs? This is effectively to do with, I suppose, whether you're boosted or not in terms of being allowed to travel. Is that right?
Pretty much. The best by date is gone on the original one, or will go 9 months after the second vaccine. It doesn't go today, it goes 9 months after your second vaccine. Most Irish people went through the system for the second full course last July. So around St. Patrick's Day it'll kick in. It just means that the COVID cert is being updated. It's not being updated with the same COVID cert, it's being updated with a new one. So if you're in the system in the big walk-in, in the big vaccination centres, you will get another email with a new COVID cert. Make sure that's the one that's on your phone, the QR code. If it's a little bit slower for people who are going through GPs and through pharmacists, but the system kicks in today. As of today, the 27 European countries are entitled to look for a test if you don't have the booster. It doesn't mean that you're not let in. It just means that we're back to the situation last July where you needed a test, and it's an antigen test, which can be available at the airport. Much less problematic than PCR because the result comes back in a few hours and it's a bit cheaper.
Yeah. 600,000 people are still awaiting their updated COVID certificates, so you'd hope by March that is all sorted out for those people.
It's a huge problem, nightmare, because if you're in the system, it's coming through very quickly. One case, I'm in my own family where they got the vaccine at 10:20 on Sunday. The email arrived 5 hours later at 20 to 4. Now, that's fine when you're logged straight in on the iPad by an HSE worker, but GPs have been under pressure, pharmacists have been under pressure, and logging and sending back the information is a bit of a nightmare for them.
Yeah, and that is part of the problem. How much longer are we going to have this system, do you think? I mean, in terms of the European-wide need for COVID travel certs, with the progression of the variant and the number of people who are getting infected, the COVID recovery side of things, will this be with us for some time, or are we going to get some direction in Europe on this in terms of opening up travel a bit further for people?
It's a big question. You know, it's always easier to pull the drawbridge up when the plague arrives than to decide when to let it back down again. And we're going to move probably as slowly as the slowest moving part in this. So the countries that are scared, most worried about about rates, vaccination rates, things like that, will slow a process that the entire European Union would remove it. It's worked really well since July. We got 90% of people travelling, and it changed. It did something really important for the debate as well, Jerry. It's not just the debate used to be about country of origin. Oh, we don't want people from Italy coming here and spreading COVID. It's now the vaccination status of the person that decides whether they need a test or not, and it prevented flights being stopped. So keeping Europe getting Europe open last July was a big deal. I would imagine they'll hold it together for as long as various governments need it. They may need, a few of them might need a push at the end, but it's not going to go away quickly. Some people I see on social media saying, oh, it'll be gone by April, May. Wouldn't be as optimistic as that. The other thing that's really important that's still in is the locator forms. Most European countries, almost all of them, have a locator form. They do like that. It gives them the sort of information that bureaucrats love. And the masking on planes is going to stay for a while because that's going to move as slowly as. So I do expect COVID certs, masking on planes, locator forms to be there through the full of 2022. I wouldn't be surprised if it lingers on through the winter as well.
And this will be an issue if you're booking your holidays for the summer, or you have booked and you're looking to book maybe even for late autumn breaks or anything. You'll have to factor this in. If you're not boosted, you'll need to get your cert. If you are boosted, if you're not boosted, you'll have to either get boosted or you'll factor in the extra costs and the timelines, which can be tricky enough to get those tests done to allow you to travel on.
The timeline of the test isn't as tricky when you don't need a PCR. The antigen is much tighter. But the big difference between us and 2020 is that we know the flight will be taking off. It's really set up that the travel will continue and the little bits will be sorted out later rather than wholesale cancellations that we had in the past. One very important thing, this applies for travel within the European Union. It doesn't, when it goes beyond that, it's a little bit more complicated. For example, you will need a PCR test to get into Canada. You only need an antigen to get into America. We've seen people turn back at the gate travelling to Florida through Toronto because they didn't have the PCR. God. It's still complicated, but within what the European Union has done is we're one club, we're 27 countries, but we have a common travel policy between us. Yeah.
We do. Finally, briefly, look, the aviation industry, how is it doing as we head into 2022?
Looking very strong, very ambitious programme from the two major airlines, Ryanair and Aer Lingus, including new routes, and Aer Lingus holding most of the transatlantics. They've lost 4. Miami's gone, Montreal's gone, Hartford is gone, and Minneapolis is gone. But the rest are all in place, and we even have more flights from Dublin than we had before. Cork a little not so strong. They've 35 of the 50 destinations. Kerry much around the same, but it's all holding together for a good strong summer. But the seats haven't all been sold yet. Good news with the punter. Very good bargain still out there.
Okay, Eoghan, we'll leave it there. Thanks a million for talking to us on the programme this morning. Eoghan Corry there. Great stuff, Eoghan Corry there on the line, editor of Air and Travel magazine, with his 4 penny stamp from Ventry, from his childhood, when he was visiting Ventry. You wouldn't get much in terms of your letter for 4 pennies or 4 cent or even 40 cents these days. €1.25 now for a national stamp, national letter stamp.